All right, welcome back to Business AM. Still in the mood of celebrating the Children's International Day, but that means this business has to continue as usual, and there's a lot that is happening in the economy this morning. And the CEO Miradi Capital, Abraham Muthogo, other than Allah and Angel, who we know as associates. Let's just say hi to him. Hello, sir.
Hi, brother.
Karibu Sana Metropole TV.
Thank
It's a good day this morning.
Yes, it
So I
is.
just want us to look at two big issues that are happening in the economy right now as we digress into the other parts of our discussion this morning. Now, center stage really is health issues now. Now, the Higher Education Loans Board has given a 30-day deadline to Kenyan defaulters to repay their loans, failure to which their names and photos will be published in the country's dailies. According to HELP, at least 85,000 Kenyans have failed to service a loan of 50 billion shillings issued since, now wait for it, 1975. Now, the state body further added that legal action may be pursued against defaulters at the expiry of a 30-day deadline in accordance with the HELP Act. But before we decipher further into this, let us listen to a piece by our very own Victoria Munga. All right, Richie, take us there. All right, Richie, as you get ready. Now, Abraham, I mean, since 1975, that is 44 years down the line. And so we like to think that it's either they are unable to pay for these loans, because I don't think somebody will sit back and say, I am not really able to pay for that, because we don't can't find other ways to actually get this money from these people because they have their names and they could get their accounts really easily.
I think first and foremost, if you're talking about a loan of 1975,
yes.
First of all, even the quantum of it's a very small amount.
Yes.
I think personally, if I was to approach this issue, what I would do first of all is to apply the Pareto principle.
Yes.
The 80-20. Where is the 80% of my value?
Yes.
Because we are basically trying to paint the whole problem with one brush.
Yes.
We're saying we're going to publish all the pictures. We are going to follow all the. See, with debt collection and prudent credit management, you have to apply energy based on what you're getting back. So the effort should be different. But coming back to what you're saying, there are two categories of people: the people who got jobs and did not pay.
Yes.
Those people are there.
Yes.
But with the advent of the kind of information that government has on us now, they have ID numbers, because by the time you go to university, you had an ID.
Yes.
So using that information, they can track where all these people are. So if they have employers who are in government or in private sector, those ones should be taken out of the equation immediately by either amending this law to make it compulsory that money shall be deducted from your salary in full.
Yes.
So that category of people. Then there's a category of people who are probably passed on. We write that off, get that out of the way. Then there's a category of people who have never gotten jobs. So those category of people is the people we need to think about. So to me, we have to have a dichotomy of this debt and really analyze it in terms of when you talk about that lump sum figure,
yes.
What are we talking about?
Yes.
In terms of age. In 1975, if today you took a 1975 debt to court, it is statutory bad, because you have slept on your rights.
Yes.
So you cannot wake up after 50 years and want to implement your rights.
Yes.
So there are also legal issues about putting somebody's picture in the paper. With the kind of constitution we have, I don't think you can do that. Secondly, if you have to put all those pictures, if you do a rough computation, you're talking about roughly about 2B, just to put those pictures. And for municipalities to do nothing else than publish people's pictures.
Yes.
So I think the whole strategy is more of a scare tactic than an actual strategy.
Yes.
And I don't think it was going to scare anybody, if you ask me. The people are not bored.
Yes.
So I think let them go back to the drawing board. Let them dissect this debt into age and into segments of the people who took and cross-check the database of the ID numbers,
yes.
vis-a-vis those people where they are now,
yes.
and whether they are alive, because you can also cross-check that with the registrar of deaths, that out, and then now you're left with this category of people who genuinely took the loan but have no job.
Yes.
That is where the discussion should be, because I remember when I was taking mine, the underlying transaction was, we'll only deduct it the day you get a job.
Yes.
Okay, I was in school quite some time back. But when I got my job, I paid it in full because it was not much.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is there's a big chunk of this debt that is about people who want to pay but cannot pay.
Yes.
So what do we do to those people? Publishing them in the papers will not make them pay. If I don't have the ability to pay, embarrassing me will not make me pay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I personally, I may not have the details, but if you were to ask me, that's how I would approach it.
Pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, there are two ways that we're talking about this. Is it that we have failed, therefore, to actually help the loan beneficiaries to get ways in which to pay money? Because the people are saying, you just don't give me money, because there should be a process in this sense. Is that there are some activities that the government are going to actually now get into using the same people who owe them money. So that this amount of money that they keep on paying. I mean, we've had conversations floated, like the just concluded national census process. You would have said that it would have been mandatory for anybody who owns the government this money to actually get in that. Election processes. Train them and make sure that the money in which you disburse to other quarters of the economy actually goes back to paying your loans. Would you say that we would start from there? Because I don't think anybody just sits, a majority of them just are unable totally to pay back this monies.
Yeah, you're right. Again, if you divide them into only two groups,
yes,
those who can pay and want to and don't want to pay,
yes,
and those who can pay and are not paying.
Yes.
Now, if you look at it carefully, the underlying problem is that the economy is not doing as it should, and that's why there are so many of those people who got degrees but have no jobs.
Yes.
So that is where we should start.
Yes.
One, implement our strategies and fortify them so that we generate the jobs we need to generate, probably at 500,000 to 1 million jobs a year. That's number one. Number two, we also need to shift our curriculum, which I think we've already done, but it's still at the lower end, so that we start bringing up entrepreneurs. We start bringing up people who run in their own lane. Because this problem of help people not be able to pay help with the current model will only get worse. Why? Because it is can't pay, won't pay. If I can't pay, what you see, you can only follow me through a civil suit.
Yes.
The end of a civil suit, if you get judgment, if I have nothing to collect, then you take me to civil jail.
Yes.
Civil jail, you the person who pays for my stay maximum of 6 months in civil jail, and after that, dead end. So that route is a route they do not want to follow.
Yes.
It's expensive, so it will just poke holes in their pocket.
Yes.
So that's what I'm telling you. It's better to dissect and decide our value is here, and this other debt is not collectible. Let's get rid of it.
Pretty much.
And then let the government take the tab, because education is one of the sectors that are critical to this.
Yes.
But at the same time, as we're sorting our education system, as the CBC comes up, although it's probably now at almost the last date, I think we'll do it in about 2 or 3 years. So as CBC comes, the time it gets to university, then we'll start getting people who are given a loan, and as soon as they come out, they pay because they have the ability to start something,
yes, or
they're in a lane that requires them. But right now, what we are doing, we're just churning people with papers. When they get out there, they start fumbling around, but they can't pay. And so this problem will continue. If we continue doing the same thing, and we continue this kind of scare tactics, I don't think they're going to help. I can assure you, even in about a week or two, this will have fizzled out.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Away from that now, but I just want us to talk about Equity Group this morning. Now, they just want to be called Equity. Good. Now, it has announced it has plans, therefore. It has entered into a deal to acquire a majority stake in Banque Commerciale du Congo, that is BCDC, the second largest bank in Democratic Republic of Congo. Equity Bank Group will pay 10.7 billion to George Arthur Forrest family to acquire a 66.5% stake in the bank. Thus, it will pay the amount in cash for the 354 shares in BCDC in a deal inclusive of dividends that the bank will declare after January 1st. Now, the Nairobi Security Exchange listed bank already has a subsidiary in DR Congo, which it acquired in May 2015 and will seek to integrate the two banks in a merger that will create the second largest bank in the Central African nation. Now, we would therefore acquire an additional 7.6% stake from KfW, a German state-owned development bank, pushing its ownership to 93.6%. Let's leave it there. Abraham, recently, we have seen local businesses actually start to venture regionally. Equity Bank has been there, and we cannot say they've started right now, because we do know they're in Uganda, they're in Southern Sudan, they're in Tanzania as well. But the books really speak for them wanting to do this. If you go back to look at the first year report, just pre-tax profits, they actually rose to 17 billion shillings in the first half of the year. All right? I just want us to go back again and look at exactly what they did. If you look at their net loans to customers, they also rose 17% to 320.9 billion shillings in the first half of the year. All right? It is the biggest lender by customers in Kenya.
It is.
It is the biggest lender by customers.
It is.
But we've seen this trend of local businesses going regional.
Yes.
Safaricom being the latest. We've seen KCB. We've now seen Equity. Equity is actually now going to be, it's actually now cemented itself as a regional bank, as just opposed to being a local bank. Do you think that the local climate for Equity has propelled it to this level where Nana say, I think we've achieved what we wanted to do here locally, let's branch outside? Or it's just a point of, yes, as we continue chatting our way locally, let's also spread our wings somewhere else?
Okay. If you look at the local commercial environment,
Yes.
we have about 45 banks.
Yes.
If you look at Nigeria, which has 200 million people, we only have 47 million people. They have less than 20 banks. So it tells you that Kenya is overbanked.
Yes.
That's number one. So it means we have more banks than we should. Now, that in itself portends that the space, especially for the big banks,
Yes.
like Equity, Coop Bank, KCB, NCBA, Barclays, and Standard, the big six, as we would call them, those alone do not have enough space here. Even not talk about the others, the tier 2, 3, and a bit 1 or 2 of tier 4.
Yes.
So for them, it is a natural progression to go regional. And that's why you see the big boys again are the ones who have gone regional, and depending on how big that boy or girl is. Now, specifying it to Congo, Congo is the only country in the world where you will find all the metals in the periodic table, if you remember your chemistry.
Yes. All of them.
Yes. Including californium
Yes.
and all those
Yes.
rare metals.
Yes.
It is the only country where the south does not talk to the north, the west does not talk to the east, and it's as virgin as they come.
Yes.
It's a country that has climate that is only found there and in the Amazon because of how thick that equatorial forest is.
Yes.
So banks that are, Equity has seen that potential because now everybody, because you see the whole world, the frontiers have all dried up. Africa is a new frontier. But even if you go to Africa, Africa is not, the frontiers in Africa are very few left now.
Yes.
And if you look carefully, the frontiers are around the Eastern Central Africa and a bit of West Africa. But we have the advantage of that we are English speaking. They are a mix of Kiswahili, English, and French, and a bit of I think Spanish.
Yes.
So I think Equity has seen that potential. That's why you see they've bought into one bank. Now they're buying into another.
Now they're buying into another.
What is the strategy?
Yes.
The strategy is, as money starts getting in that country, which it is, as infrastructure starts being put up,
Yes.
as a country starting becoming efficient, they'll be there. Because everybody, when an investor comes into a country, the first thing they want to know is how do they take their money in and how do they take their money out?
Yes.
And where do they keep their money safe?
Yes.
So that position they're already taking. But even not just for banking, I think you'll soon see, once the infrastructure starts kicking in, you'll start seeing production plants changing their models from producing here and transporting it there to taking their plants there. Because the kind of concessions that are coming, for which I am privy to, are concessions that will make it very easy for people to go and set up there. The only reason people are not setting up there is because, one, the preconditions like human capital, in terms of ease of power,
Yes.
in terms of water, the basic amenities are still not the way they should. So the people are the expatriates will be more comfortable staying here.
Yes.
But the moment we up that infrastructure in that country, then you'll start seeing movements there.
Yes.
You'll start seeing a reduction of airfare because, like, if you look at the Kenya Airways flight, like from Nairobi to Lubumbashi or Nairobi to Kinshasa,
yes,
it's more expensive than Nairobi to London. Why? Because the demand is higher. But as they open their skies, then you'll have more planes going there. Then the place will come down. So in a nutshell, I think James Mwangi of Equity, I think is just positioning himself.
Yes.
The kind of money he's spending may not make sense now, but it will make sense.
But it will make sense.
Because the guys will be coming in then will pay 3-4 times what he's paying.
What he's spending right now.
Yeah.
Isn't it? There's something that he said, just as we cleared this conversation this morning, there's something that he actually said the other day when he was releasing their results. Isn't that they don't know what the government policy is in Kenya when they just expunged the repeal on rate caps. Is that they said, we're not in a hurry right here, right now in the market, despite these good numbers that are actually giving us this morning, to actually start changing our interest in our products. We have to wait and see what policy that the government is really trying to introduce. Would you say that this is exactly what is making them fuel their energies to, was a less regulated environment, just to go capture in a fresh market, even as the local market here really tries to redefine itself, because we're getting told the 20% interest rate regime done and dusted?
Yeah, you see, first of all, in terms of sophistication, Kenya is a very sophisticated market.
Yes.
I mean, there's no comparison with DRC.
Yes.
Personally, I think the reason they're going there is because of lack of space here. The regime here, you saw, even when it was capped, they still stayed. Now the reason nobody is going ahead to increase their rates is because everybody is playing a wait and see game.
Doesn't it?
Because the public is waiting to lynch the first guy who goes
just
first.
makes that step.
Yeah. So that's why you see they've all stayed put. If they were asked, they would have done something else, but they are all staying put, trying to understand. But the government should move very fast and start, and actually the MPC should have met by now and start driving the CBR downwards.
Yes.
So that as they think about going up, the government gives direction of down.
Pretty much,
yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Abraham, I'm just going to let us stop here because I'm getting told Alice and Angel took our time and they're bound to come back again and take it further as well. Because after this, we are actually going to talk now the topic on children's rights. We have Daima Trust Executive Director in the studio today. Let's talk about it, and we have another surprise for you. Wait and see. Abraham, thank you very much for coming.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
Winchi, take us out. We come and talk about that.